There's nothing wrong with being an artist and having your own lane, but even me being a producer, if I work with somebody who does reggae beats, I wouldn't mind working with them. I would just have to push myself out there to catch a groove. You gotta compromise as creatives. You gotta meet in the middle and see what works best.
3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome to episode 67 of Ruse Radio. 67. We got a returning guest with us. I had a great conversation with you last time, my friend. Happy to have you back on. You make some great beats, if I do say so myself. You're making moves out there. BKTHAGR808, BKTHAGR808, excuse me. Is there anything that you want to say to people who might be rolling up that have never, ever heard your beats or anything like that? Just somebody was there like, whoa, BKTHAGR808, wait, who?
Yeah, so basically,
I think I asked you the same exact question last time, didn't I?
I don't recall, but then again, I can't remember.
It's kind of like one of my go-to questions, so that's why I was like, oh man, I already had him on. Like, should I just have him just introduce himself to strangers? He was already here. They should know him by now. You can introduce yourself. Don't let me interrupt your introduction. I apologize.
So, a producer from Flint, Michigan, obviously, but I like to make beats of all sorts, kind of like a jack of all trades. I like to make R&B beats, hip-hop beats, occasionally EDM, a little bit of house here and there, but not often. Mainly, I stick to R&B and like trap hip-hop beats. But I've been just, reaching out to artists lately and just trying to network with people because that's my main goal for this year. I set that for myself specifically now that I'm kind of like, a little bit more put together when it comes to the overall production of things.
And when it comes to the people you reach out to, has that changed since the last time we spoke? Have you reached out to any new people? Has there been any new developments within that? Because I know the last time, the big thing that we were really talking about was probably the, I'm forgetting the female rapper.
KTLYN, yes.
KTLYN, yes. The KTLYN thing was pretty big.
Yes.
Has there been anything since then that has popped off a little bit?
So she has a new song coming out, I think next week or something like that. Sometime, oh my God, it's the end of May, pretty much. That's crazy to think time flies by like that. But so I swiped up on her Instagram story because she was like, oh yeah, go ahead and pre-save and screenshot, DM me that you pre-saved it or whatever. And like, I'll, DM you back or whatever. And I was just like, fuck it, why not? And so I did. And obviously I like her style, so I pre-saved it. But I DM'd her and I was like, it would be pretty cool, a BK and KTLYN collab. And so I sent her a little screen recording, maybe 20 seconds of a beat that I feel like she would fit perfectly on. And I wasn't expecting anything, but I just, I get a DM back saying send to my email. And I was like, what? I was like, oh, she actually wants me to send the beat to her. I didn't know if she would even see the video, but I'm like, maybe she listened to it and liked it, or maybe she just, was like, okay, yeah, send it to my email and I'll listen to it that way. But I know it's gonna go, it's gonna work, I'm gonna get a hit with her and we're gonna work together. But
written in the stars.
It is, yeah, a million miles away. Just kidding. No, that's a song.
Yeah, I was a wrestling fan when that was the theme to WrestleMania.
I'm so glad that you caught that reference because I love that song. It just takes me back to high school, dude. But so I wasn't expecting her to DM me back saying send to my email, and I was like, I've got a pack of at least 5 beats I can send her that are right up her alley, So I did that, and I think she ended up seeing them. I sent it to her via WeTransfer, which is a website where you can upload a zip file or multiple different files, because Gmail only lets you send up to 25 megabytes before they turn it into a Google Drive link. And I'm like, well, if I was going to do that, I would just send it to her via a Dropbox link, a zip folder or whatever. But it was just over the 25 megabytes. So I'm just like, I'll use WeTransfer and I'll just send her the link so she could choose to download it. But that's definitely going to be a thing. BK and KTLYN, collabing. It's going to be a thing for sure. So expect to, hear my beats. I sent her the untagged beats because I was like, the rest of her songs she has, they're untagged. And I'm like, to be honest. Like, I just want to hear my beats being used by artists that like I fuck with. So I'm not really worried about that. You know, a lot of producers might be like, oh, well, you need to buy the beat from me if you want to get the untagged version or whatever. Like that makes sense if the artist hits you up asking for the beats. But like as a producer, like I personally feel like if you want to work with an artist that has like a bigger audience and like, you know, I don't want to say the word clout because that's lame, but like they have like, you know, they already like are up and coming and you're just like a nobody at this point. Like I would say like I'm a nobody because like nobody really knows who I am yet, keyword yet. But obviously I'm just like, I'm going to make a name for myself. So like you'll hear those songs come out in the future and you might not like, you know who made the beat, but like you'll know when the time comes. I'm not being cocky, but I'm just being straight up. I'm telling you how it is.
Yeah. Why is it what is it about that specific combination that makes you so like why are you so attracted to that vision, I suppose?
Because it's like it's something I can literally see, you know, myself like living, and it's one of those things that you just feel like it's just gonna happen. Like every day you're closer to achieving that.
Yeah.
And I'm not just saying that because like I do this a lot. You know, I'm not like, oh yeah, like I worked with this artist, I worked with that artist, so it's definitely gonna be a thing. But it's like one of those things. It's like if you just keep chasing at it, like eventually you'll get to that destination. And like I literally feel like I don't know if it's me tricking myself into thinking it or if I'm just like manifesting it, like it's gonna happen, but it's almost like within arm's reach. I'm like, dude, like the life that I want to live, which is, you know, like creating just timeless music with artists, isn't that far away, you know? And it's like if I'm already able to be in contact with the artist that I want to work with, it's only inevitable. Like it's gonna happen. It's when
it's only a matter of when. And we were talking right when you got here about the 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon and the beauty of collaboration. And the whole thing about the 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon is that everybody is 7 degrees separated from everybody else in some type of way. Kevin Bacon as an example. So somehow, in some way, you are 7 people separated from Kevin Bacon. You could say me, and then my grandma, and then that guy my grandma met 3 years ago, and then his friend, and then his friend's friend, and then his lawyer, and then boom, Kevin Bacon.
Yeah.
Like somehow, in some way, you can get there. And so when it comes to working with somebody like KTLYN or doing something like that and fulfilling that particular vision, that dream, I feel like it would play out in a way that would be, you know, like I can see why you'd be so invested in that, because it's going to play out in a way where you will make timeless music with other timeless artists, not just her.
Yeah, exactly.
But other timeless artists are going to see that because they're inevitably connected to someone like her. That's the bubble that she's in. Independent artists that are looking for producers to help them make timeless music.
Exactly. So, and I honestly, I feel like independent is the way to go, like as an artist. Like it used to not be that way, you know, because there weren't platforms like TikTok. There was Instagram, but they didn't have the Reels thing, and there wasn't YouTube Shorts. So it's like it was harder for an independent artist to like kind of come up, you know, without a label being like, let me pick them up and we'll give them upfront, you know, payment and like promote all their stuff. And basically, you know, it's like independent artists, it's like you get to drop your music whenever you want to. So, and you're free to work with whoever you want to. You don't get, you know, you don't have to worry about the label telling you, no, you should work with this artist instead of this artist. Like, you know, like you literally have the freedom to do whatever you want, whenever you want. So if she wants to work with this producer over here and then this producer over here, and they might have like different styles, she can do it if she wants to, you know? So the independent, literally, like you literally are independent. You're not worried about somebody telling you what you can and can't do. You're not like, you know, bound to any contract or negotiations. So
no contracts, no negotiations, no hassle. That's what Robinhood is all about. Cutting out that middleman in that stock business, making it so you don't have to do all that ridiculous paperwork that you don't even understand what it is you're writing or signing up for. We don't want to do none of that, and they know that, so they made it nice and easy. All right, they're like Robinhood. They're taking from the rich and they're giving it to you. And if you guys sign up today, we have a limited time offer where you get a brand new free stock. If you're a new customer, if you've never used Robinhood before, you get a free stock on the His House. Just go in that link in our description and sign up now. Anyway, why does he say all that?
I say this because not only is she independent, but I feel like she's willing to work with anybody, as long as, you got to support the people before you can just hit them up. I saw a post by, I don't know if you know who Jeff Sky is.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, I love his post. Shout out to Jeff Sky. I love his post on Facebook. And he said, like, before you hit somebody up in the DM saying, hey, let's work, out of the blue, and you've never once shared their stuff or supported their stuff or whatever, what makes you think that artist is going to want to work with you because you just DM them saying, let's work? You got to show them support. You got to show them love before you can just hit them up being like, that's, let's work. I happened to, come across KTLYN's, obviously her duet that she did with Russ. And I'm not hitting her up to work with her because she is in contact with Russ. That's not it at all. It's because I actually enjoy her style of rap and the types of beats that she raps on. And so I'm I've got beats that matches her style. Why don't I reach out to her? And she posted the other day, shortly after our conversation that we had on Instagram, it was a very short one. Like I said, she said, send it to my email or whatever. And I think either later that night or the next day, I see on Instagram, she had posted on her story. And it was Metro Boomin explaining, it was a producer podcast. And it was a clip. And Metro Boomin was don't try to work with the Futures and the Drakes. Don't waste your time trying to do that. Instead, work with up and coming artists that aren't fully popping yet, that haven't blown up yet, because then it feels more rewarding to come up with that artist, and it's just better to you have more of a chance working with an artist like that. Whereas if I were to try and DM Drake, yeah, good luck,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, some people shoot way too high.
Yeah.
And the thing is, too, do you want to lay groundwork down? Or are you just going to expect something to fall into your lap? Or do you really want to put in that work and show to that person, that you're trying to attract? I do want Drake. That's my ultimate goal. I want Drake. Let's just use that as an example.
Okay, yeah.
So if my ultimate goal is Drake, I should be working with as many artists in Drake's lane or a lane similar to Drake as possible for as long as possible until I'm anywhere near Drake's category. And then maybe, just maybe, I can reach out to him. I mean, I could always try to reach out to him now, but the expectation should be zero.
For sure.
Until
slim to none.
Yeah, slim to zero until I am years and years down the line. I mean, I was talking with Crackalack on the last episode of this podcast a lot about mastery, and I think mastery is a big thing that a lot of people don't really value. That's what you have to put in order to be able to work with somebody that's that good. You need to be a master at your craft. You need to prove that you're a master. And there's different ways to prove you're a master, but it just shows in the work. It's not something as simple as I just need to act in the way that I need to act in the way that a master would. No, a master wouldn't think that way.
Your work will speak for itself.
Yes, your work speaks for itself. You're already fucking up by thinking, oh, a master would do this, so I'll do this. No, the master just does.
Yeah. Doesn't put much thought process into it in terms of just laying down what needs to be done. It just, like you said, he just does it. He doesn't think too much about oh, should it sound like this or should it sound like this? It's just just do the damn thing.
And that's where you get the people that are actually going to have, I mean, don't get me wrong. There's a million methods to madness. There's a million ways you can make music. There's a million ways you can make any piece of art. But I truly do think that when it comes to shooting high and having those dreams, you get that same exact mindset has to go towards whatever it is that you're actually doing at the same time. If you really think you're going to work with some of these artists, okay, prove it.
Right.
Prove it. Actually do that. Let me see you be as good as the guy that would make a beat for Drake. Prove it to me. Because if you're actually that good, Shit, dude, I'll buy a beat from you.
Exactly.
Right now.
Like, how dedicated are you to get to that level in your, like you said, like in your mastery craft, you know? And it's funny that you say that because I think of the way you explained it for some reason took my mind to video games. Whereas like if you see somebody that's like almost like max level, you want to be on their team. Like you want them to be on your team. You're like, I'm hoping that they get, matched with me and not put on the enemy team. Because if so, I'm probably going to get smoked. But like if they're on your team, like they're going to help carry you to victory. But like if you're a weak link on that team and you're not going to like, help, get to the end goal of winning, why do you think they want you?
Yeah. Yeah, like turn that around and look at yourself the same way.
Yes.
I heard interesting advice where it's there's a couple different ways you could say it, but a funny way you could say it would be the guy that you are when you're trying to impress a girl you want to have. I should just say it the funniest way it is said. Ruse doesn't usually use profanity this vulgar, so excuse me. Be the guy that you're trying to be when you're trying to impress a girl you want to fuck, right? That's what you're trying to do.
Yeah, and like I feel like that's just, it's the human nature.
Yes.
Like you're, like, and it's funny because I've had conversations like this with other people, but it's like, you don't want to be that guy that's like, oh yeah, my dick's bigger than yours or whatever. But like, it literally at some point, it kind of is like unintentionally.
It's innate. It's in humans.
It is, yeah, like the dominant side, and it's like, for me personally, like as a producer, I'm not going to go around being like, yo, my beats are better than yours, so I should have a better chance of working with Drake. Like, that's not even it, It's like, if I catch a vibe from what I hear, I'll work with you, but it's like, I'm not gonna like shoot straight for the guy at the very top. I'm gonna like build my way up that ladder.
I have this theory in general about main character syndrome, where it's like we all kind of have it, just to different extents. I think it's just like a lot of things. It's all on a spectrum, right? Mm-hmm. So we're all, to an extent, caught up in our own heads, worried about our own egotistical whatever. We are the main character of our own story, and we're convinced that we're the main character of our own story. And it's very hard to have that relative view beyond that. And within that, I think that as an artist, a lot of people are like, they get convinced, because that's exactly what me and Rocco were talking about. That was kind of the funny thread that we had going on throughout that whole day. Shout out episode 57 of Ruse Radio, because we filmed it the same day that we were chilling. Great day. Great time. But we had this idea of like, what is special? Like, what makes someone special, And I think within that whole concept of what I just described, it's like people convince themselves that they're special. They convince themselves, like, I'm the main character, I'm special. So when you get caught up in that too much, it becomes this conundrum, this paradox. So I don't know. It's tough because you have to see it and you have to believe it in order to climb the ladder, but you can't get too invested in it. You can't think you're that special, or else you stop being a human all of a sudden. All of a sudden, you're so deep inside of that, you really think you're special. Like, bro, trust me, you're not. None of us are. That's the beautiful thing about all of it. Like, even though you're a little bit special, even though you might be special in some area, you're not special in a million ways that someone else is, and that's beautiful. Like, everybody's special in different ways. And in that, we're not special at all, and we're all the same, and that's the beautiful thing. Like, we can all be special in different ways. You're not special by being really good at this one thing. There's no need for you to be special 24/7. There's no need for you to be special. Just be cool. And I think people get caught up in that. Because, like I said, they're the main character. Mm-hmm. Like, I gotta be special. Like, I gotta be the dopest. I gotta make the coolest shit. And it just becomes this thing that's impossible to solve.
It's
people
like,
fuck themselves over.
They try too hard. And it's almost like you said, like the main character syndrome or whatever. They try so hard to
I'm gonna write a book one day with that being the title.
Do it. Yeah. Like
that might be my theory. I don't know if anybody's ever said it.
Because, there are some people that, like you said, they kind of get caught up in their own head, like convincing themselves that they're so special that it's like, nobody can top me or whatever. But then like a guy will come in and literally just be himself, and like person that you look up to or whatever like might happen to like prefer this guy, like hanging out with this guy over, you or whatever. And you kind of might like think, oh, why does he like him over me? Like you can't be too invested emotionally.
No.
You just got to be like, okay, well, it is what it is, and just continue on going about your life.
Yeah, one thing that really blew my mind, it was, I wish I knew exactly what the substance was, but I believe it was psilocybin. And I learned this on a podcast with Matthew Johnson, who's a researcher. I don't know, I can't remember which school, but it's an acclaimed school. And he does like psychedelics research for like psychedelic medicine and psychedelic therapy. And he was on Aubrey Marcus's podcast. And it's a great podcast they did together. And he was talking about how maybe it was Aubrey Marcus that actually said this bit, but something about throwing a ball back and forth, where they did a study where two people are throwing a ball and you have one person who's watching them throw a ball, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're just not playing with the third person. And if those people are sober, they normally have the reaction of like, why aren't they? Well, they'll ask them what the thought is like, why aren't these people throwing me the ball? Why are they just playing without me? And if the people are on the psychedelics like psilocybin, I believe it was psilocybin, then they would go, they're not even concerned with the fact that they're playing with the ball. Their minds they're just concerned with the fact that they exist and they're alive and it's cool and it doesn't matter. Like it is what it is, as you said.
Yeah.
And so I think it's just an interesting thing that people have those types of experiences. It always perplexes me that that a substance like that can lead people in that direction. Because to me, that is the ultimate. That's the best way to respond to that type of situation. It is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Like you are just a character in a story. Like I said, you're not that special.
Yeah.
You're just a character in a story, and it's okay if that's your role in this story. Like, yeah, sometimes you should like try. Like if that happened to you, like somebody likes this guy more than you, you can speak up, and you could be that guy that says something too. You could be that guy too.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe that won't work out.
Right. It
Maybe
could make things worse.
Make things worse.
Yeah,
Exactly.
You never know.
So it's like sometimes in life, the best thing to do is to just let stories be what they are. Just let things be what they are. It's a beautiful thing, man, when you just let life, when you coexist with life. I always imagine that's the idea behind those coexist bumper stickers that everybody likes to make fun of. I actually think that's a nice sentiment, right? You should just coexist with one another and with life itself. Like, that's what we're all trying to do, right? Wouldn't it be better if we all just got along? I mean, come on, guys.
I mean, if that was the case, we'd have a much better world, But,
I wish everybody would just vibe, bruh.
Right.
Why aren't we just vibing 24/7? What's the problem here? I don't get it. Like, I get that there's some incentives, there's some crazy people, but if we could just find a way to just give them a different vibe location, then we could really vibe, man. Like, what's all the holdup with the vibing? That's my thing.
A lot of people just let their ego get the best of them.
Yeah.
And like, you'll see it too, It's like, whether it's like a form of jealousy or you just see like, okay, for example, back when I used to be, I'm still a fan of The Weeknd, but like I used to like make edits of him, like just Photoshop edits for fun. And he ended up following me. And then I made an edit, like a header for him on Twitter, and it happened to match his profile picture, which was like a photo that somebody took at a live concert of him, and it just looked dope. And I was like, hey, I made a header that matches, your profile picture. And I remember this one guy who was like a huge mega stan, like The Weeknd would only use like, edits by this guy. And then one day he's just like, oh, I'm going to change it from what I had it to this guy BK or whatever, so he changed it, and I was not expecting it at all. I was just like, hey, like, I made this, like, I didn't say this, but I'm like, in my head, I'm like, if he uses it, cool. Like, if he sees it, cool. If not, cool. I don't care, I'm just like throwing it out there. And then he changed it to that. And I remembered that the one guy who was like the mega stan that like the Weeknd was following as well, that would use his edits. Like, he never really used anybody else's edits in like the fan base. And I don't think it was like, like because this guy's better. It wasn't that. It was just like, he just only knew that this guy, made a lot of edits and was pretty good at it. And then there was me that came in the picture unexpectedly. You know, he just used my edit as his background or whatever. And then that guy took it personally. The other guy took it really personally and was just like, oh, well, hey, I ended up making this one, so you can use this one instead of his. And I'm just kind of like I, was talking about, some people are like, oh yeah, well, look at, like, my dick's bigger than yours. And it's just like, I'm literally like, bro, that's not even what I'm going for. You're taking me, like, the wrong way. You know, it's like some people just literally let their egos get the best of them. And I'm like, did I push a nerve or something? You know, like why are you so childish? I'm like, I literally had nothing to do with me, you know?
Well, I mean, okay, if I'm going to seriously answer the question, why is everybody not going to vibe? I think what the true answer is that, we're all reflections of ourselves, and let's be real, bro. It all comes down to the way we think and the psychology of it. The psychology of the vibes. I mean, if somebody's vibes are negative, they will put out those negative vibes.
Mm-hmm.
It's proved. It's been scientifically proven, okay?
I love that, the way you worded that.
Scientifically proven. Yes, I got to write that one down, okay? That's a smart word that I just made up that a lot of people will start using.
It'll catch on.
Yeah, I can remember how to say it. Scientifically.
Now you just got to spell it, put it in the dictionary, call it good. Hit up Webster and be like, hey, this is what this means. This is how you spell it. Stamped with the Ruse approval.
Because I mean, that's how new words are made, right? You just hit them up.
Yeah, for sure.
Call up Webster. Hey guys, I got a good one.
Right. I mean, I remember
I've been cooking up some words.
He's like, they just gotta just roll off the brain. I remembered like hearing the word Riz for the first time, and I was like, what does that even mean?
Yeah,
I kept seeing it on a bunch of different videos in the comments, like, oh, bro's got mega ultra Riz, and I'm like, what the hell does that mean? I was getting pissed off because I didn't know what it meant, and I was just like. It's like, those things that you don't really understand. And you're like, but people keep throwing it around or keep on using it. And I'm like, okay. Somebody finally explained to me what it meant. It was like, it's short for charisma. And I was like, well, why is it spelled with two Z's? R-I-Z-Z. I'm just like.
Oh, there's no. It just wouldn't. If it was spelled like in charisma, it wouldn't work.
Yeah, it would just be R-I-S.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. But I had no idea it was part of the word charisma. I knew what it meant, but I had no idea that that was part of it.
Yeah. They're like, oh, yeah, like he's got, like this dude can pull chicks. Or like this dude, is like just getting all these like different brand deals and stuff like that. Like dude's got mega Riz or whatever. And I'm just like, before I knew what it meant, I was just like, why are people saying this? It literally was every comment that was saying that. And I'm like, I don't know what this means. And I'm like, I grew up in the generation of like the LOLs and the ROFL. Nobody uses Raffle anymore, but everybody still uses Lamau.
Yeah.
I still use it. Even.
Yeah. Well, dude, I mean, sometimes I try to put that in perspective, just the thought of like right here and the point we're at right now. Like, think about the transatlantic accent. Like, people talked like that. They actually talked like that regularly.
Yeah.
And to us, that sounds crazy. Like, wow, what a silly way of talking.
Mm-hmm.
Or even if you watch clips of people and the way they talk in the 50s and 60s. By the way, I think a transatlantic accent sounds cool.
Yeah.
I actually like it. But the way that people talk back then, where it's a lot more of a, or even more so like the 30s and 40s, if there's any footage of that or clips of that people might have heard. It's always like more sophisticated, more like it's just like the way their culture was. They had a way of speaking that was a little bit better laid out than the way we talk now. Like you don't hear and yeah, but or
straightforward and to the point.
Yeah, that was just the way they talked. There was not another option because that wasn't even presented. And so I feel like it's really interesting to think about it that way. Like the culture moves in a certain direction and the way we talk even moves in weird directions.
Oh, for sure.
Where we're at right now and the way we use words right now is in a weird spot. Like I've said before about how nowadays with these phrases that kids come up with, it's not like it used to be. Like before, it would be the type of thing where you would have to say it and then it would slowly trickle across America. We're talking the 90s, the 80s, like things where it's like, oh, that's fire. Oh, that's popping. Like,
yeah.
Oh, that hits.
Oh, that's busting.
Oh, that busting's new though. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And it's just what happens now is what I just described, but in light speed. because there's the internet and there's social media platforms like TikTok where kids are on there and they can just type in a comment where they randomly make it up. They're like, "Huh, this is busted." Huh.
Yeah.
Like just some random kid that'll never get credit.
Somebody else will see that and take it and run with it.
Yes. And then it just pops off in a way that it never could back in the day. And so to me, that's just an example of like the way that not only is culture changing all the time, but we have to brace ourselves, bruh, because culture's about to change a lot faster than we've ever seen before.
And that's what technology is happening that way too.
Yeah.
Speed.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, it's not only the fact that we're growing up with the technology, it's the fact that the technology is speeding up itself. You're right. It's both of those things.
Yeah.
Because like it's moving at a rate that I don't even think we fully understand. You know, I've been watching a lot of earlier episodes of Joe Rogan recently.
Wait. Now, before I continue to talk about our impending AI doom, let me tell you a solution, a way you can stop yourself from worrying about it so much and just enjoy the moment for a minute. I'm all about finding natural ways to do this, okay? Ways that make it so we can wake up the next morning not feeling like we just got picked up by a garbage truck. This is the way. It's CBD. And my favorite CBD company, CBDfx. But bow, if you look above me, you can see their products. I get them all the time. I love CBDfx. CBDfx is thebomb.com. They make great gummies. That's what I like to get. But they got all kinds of other products too. So if you're looking for a natural remedy, a way to make your life better, a way to sleep better, a way to stress less, a way to recover quicker, CBD is the way to go. There's a million health benefits. It's just good for you all around. I love it. I really do. And I'm so happy to have them as a sponsor. So if you're into just general wellness, CBD is for you. Besides, we're going to need it if I keep talking about all this stuff. Let's get back to it. Why don't we?
In a lot of those episodes of Joe Rogan, like, and I'm talking around 2018, right around there, like not that long ago, but still, like, relatively speaking, this is well before these events are really rolling out.
And that was 5 years ago.
When I'm talking about AI. So, did I mention AI already? Did I say it?
Not today, no.
Okay, because that's what I was getting to, yeah. Oh, you're just saying that was 5 years ago. Yeah.
Like 2018, as in you were saying, like, oh, not that long ago, it was 5 years ago.
Yeah, right. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I was just thrown off a little bit. Yeah. So in 2018, 5 years ago, they're talking about all this stuff about AI. Exactly. And that's not that long ago.
Right.
Right. But it's also like the way that AI is right now, we couldn't even imagine this in 2018. And I heard these podcasts back in 2018 when I listened to them originally, a lot of them. Like the one where Elon Musk was on, the original Alex Jones podcast he had him on. Like, yeah, they're talking about crazy stuff, both of them, respectively. Like, you're like, whoa, these guys, damn. Like, they really, like, they have a lot to say. But they both touch on AI. And they both touch on the danger of AI in different ways, in their own respective ways. And not only just them, those are just two notable examples. There's plenty of people who have been on Joe Rogan's podcast throughout the years talking about the danger of AI. And only now is it in the public eye, and only now are people really tuning into like, oh, what could come of this? What's the problem here? Like, and you'll hear a lot of people go, oh, yo, I am not cool with AI. And they don't even really know much about it. They just don't trust it because it's not human. And so it's like, are they right? Are they wrong? Who knows? But it doesn't matter because it's going to progress either way, because that's the way it's been this whole time. And that's what those people were saying in 2018. That's why I brought up those two podcasts, because Elon Musk straight up says, like, I've been trying to tell people, like, this is heading the wrong way. Nobody's really listening. They just want to keep moving forward with the technology. And now here we are in 2023 where anybody can ask this chatbot anything they want and it'll give them infinite information. It just keeps going. It never ends. It's a fountain, just like Midjourney or any
with
AI generation.
like the photo and like the art and stuff like that. You just throw a prompt at it and it will like make 4 different variants of like what you told it to make, and you can choose which one you prefer, and then it'll start making a better version of that.
Yes.
It just keeps advancing.
Yes, it just keeps getting better. And it just keeps getting better in the sense too that over time, there's more and more versions of this product. So like, yeah, you have this photo generation we have now, but just wait till 3 months when the next version comes out. Just wait till 6 months from now when the next version comes out. Like with Midjourney specifically, for example, you can see there are videos or even probably photos out there of like the progression from the last, I would say maybe even the last year or so, like from version 2 to I think they're on 5 now. And it's just crazy. The same exact prompt, but the exact same versions. And matter of fact, I think you can even test it if you have access to Midjourney. I think you can just test, you can type in V1, V2, V3, V4, V5, and they'll do it in each different version, so you can still do it. And it just keeps getting better. It just keeps getting more photorealistic. The things inside the photo keep making more and more sense. And so it becomes this thing where it's like a lot more people start paying attention to it. And like I said, there's a moral fight about it. Like, this isn't right. There's all these things that are happening here. But in the end, they're just going to keep advancing it unless something legal happens. Like, another great example, this whole thing, is the Drake AI song.
Yes, I was about to mention that. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's pretty big news. That's on a lot of people's radar, rightfully so. I mean, it's not badly made, and the fact that a lot of people resonated with it, or it resonated with a lot of people, and a lot of people enjoyed it, and they were willing to listen to it continuously, just goes to show, like, this is the direction this stuff is heading in. So it's either we accept that and we find a way to embrace it and we work towards that, or we push it away. Right now, we say, no, we're not legally, we can't have this. There's no way. But how do you do that? Because the technology is already out there. It's already there. So that's going to be almost impossible.
You mentioned that, and I happened to come across, either it was like a tweet or maybe it was a TikTok video, but UMG is freaking out.
Of course,
UMG,
they
biggest,
would be.
Yeah, biggest label, Universal Music Group. They're the ones that had me suspended on Twitter over a year ago. I don't hate them. It was my fault posting music video, clips of music video, and they give you like 5 strikes or something like that. But it doesn't matter. They were freaking out because they're like, this is like a really bad gray area. Even though it wasn't the artists themselves that made that song, because it's AI, somebody ended up like singing or rapping and then used AI technology to sound like that artist. Like
for now.
For now. Yeah. And there's plenty of different like artists out there. Like all it needs is like, like a little, like, I don't even know how long it needs to be, but like literally any artist that's out there or anybody's voice, like right now, like if somebody wanted to sound like me, they could literally just say anything and then use AI to like sound like my voice.
Yeah. With that specifically, with the voice AI cloning,
yes.
It's gotten better and better and better and better and better. Like,
yeah.
It's to the point now where if you wanted to clone someone's voice with AI, I think all you would need is this podcast right here. All you need is this, and not even just this podcast. You probably only need a solid minute of you talking.
Yeah.
I think that's it. Maybe even 30 seconds. I don't know what they got it down to yet, but it's
quick.
Getting crazy where it's like if I just get a snippet of you talking, I could just infinitely continue to generate your voice. Now, there's got to be limits to that, but still. Like
you would think. Yeah.
There has to be. Like, there's no way, because some people, like, what if they didn't say a certain sound and you might try to generate something with that certain sound? I would just imagine that it would have to be the case that, yeah, maybe you could do that, but there's probably novelty to that. The best way to do it, voice AI clone, or AI voice cloning is probably the better way to put it. But the better way to do that would be to have a large library of their voice and then generate it. And I think that's what a lot of this music stuff is. I think that's why, because I've noticed that it's like a fairly large file when you go to use these things. It's like I don't know, somewhere around 200 megabytes. It might be around in the gigabyte.
Probably like at least a gigabyte.
It might be. But it's just a lot of vocal recording.
Yeah.
I mean, even to get around 200 megabytes, or 200,000 megabytes, I mean to say. Was that right? I'm sorry. Whatever's 0.2 gigabytes, whatever's getting up there, that is a lot.
0.2 gigabytes, it's 200 megabytes.
200 megabytes, yeah. That is quite a bit of vocal recording right there. For is that right? Maybe not. Yeah, probably about the gigabyte. It just depends, because, for people who don't record music, there's all different types of ways that a file could be larger than another. So
wave,
I have to
obviously.
imagine they're using the best quality stuff, which is a wave. So I don't know. You're right. It's probably somewhere in the gigabytes. I just can't remember. But either way, it's a little bit of a library of their audio. It's not 30 seconds. There's no way. So, especially with this Drake stuff that you're hearing, some of these AI songs, like there's no way that's off of 30 seconds a minute. Like some of that stuff is uncanny.
They actually poke fun of it too. Whenever they like make the AI Drake videos, they call it's Drake, but Draike.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, that's kind of smart when it comes to like the marketing. But like, let's say I've seen some TikToks where like people use, AI Drake to say some really out of pocket shit.
Yeah.
Like super zesty stuff. Like, cause that's the meme, everybody's like, oh, Drake's so zesty or whatever, but, like like some stuff that, like he wouldn't say on a track, but like, it sounds like it could actually be him. And then it's bad at that point also to where it's like, you might see like another clip and it would say something along the lines of like unreleased Travis Scott. And I'm like, is it really unreleased or is this AI? You don't know anymore unless you're literally trying to hear for the possible flaws in the, the vocals or whatever. Like if you hear like an odd like pitch bend or whatever, but then you're like, maybe what if that was intentional when they recorded it? So it's literally like you're asking yourself, is this real or is this AI? You don't even know.
What it reminds me of is like what just occurred to me just now is it's similar to Coke and Pepsi, where it's like people will tell you, oh, I know the difference between Coke and Pepsi. I know the difference. And then like you hand them a Coke, you hand them a Pepsi, they drink both. They're like, yeah, I can tell the difference. But then you do a blind test and all of a sudden they can't tell the difference. And I feel like it's the same thing where it's like, yeah, when you hear an AI generated song, unless it's badly done, you hear it and you're like, oh, this sounds like it could be legit. Like, is this an unreleased song I haven't heard before? But if you hear it and it's AI generated, then you're looking for it and you're like, oh, I can tell how this is AI generated. But if you didn't know, if the context was just completely different and you didn't know, then it is different and it could fool you. And that's only now. So who knows? We're at the point now, man, where I had my Spotify on the Discover Weekly playlist. And I was just letting it go, and some song came on, and I think the artist's name was King Kunta or something like that, and it sounded like Kendrick Lamar. And I was listening to it, and I was thinking, oh, is this like an AI-generated Kendrick Lamar song? Because I thought it was somebody just doing a gimmick at first, but then I was like, wait, this sounds way too much like Kendrick Lamar. This has to be an AI song. And then that's what this gimmick is.
Did you look into it more?
So I look up the name of the song, and it's an unreleased song off of To Pimp a Butterfly, and it is actually Kendrick Lamar's voice. And I just did not like the way that made me feel.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I was hearing an actual unreleased Kendrick Lamar song, and instead of reacting like, oh shit, this is unreleased Kendrick, that's certainly Kendrick, that's his voice, I thought, that's Kendrick's voice, but
is it really him?
Is it really him? Because the technology is that good.
It is.
Yeah.
Because like what you were just describing, I assume somebody like a diehard fan happened to upload that under a different name, because people do that with like The Weeknd and with like Tory Lanez and Chris Brown.
It's already happening.
Yeah, and it's like it's actually them, but it's just like you said, it's unreleased stuff under a different name, and then eventually they end up getting taken down. And for the people like me who would add them to a playlist, like I like listening to, well, they end up being grayed out, and then it just skips to the next song. And I'm like, damn, I got to go on SoundCloud for this now, or I got to go on YouTube,
And that's why I didn't even realize this was a thing where people would upload unreleased songs and put those out in different. I'm sure that they get taken down and then
because of the copyright aspect.
Down. It's just somebody who really likes those artists.
I don't think they're trying to monetize.
$5 to put the. Yeah, I don't think they're even in it for the
for the money. Yeah,
I think
they're just a fan, and they want other people to be able to be like, oh, hey, yeah, like check out this unreleased song, And
that guy's walking around town. Yo, I'm King Kunta on Spotify.
Right, and it's
unreleased Kendrick Lamar music.
Be like, you do not look like Kendrick Lamar, but that was his voice. Yeah, but like that's me. That's my alias.
No, bro, that's me. I made auto songs.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
Wait,
it's like
you said what now?
Okay, well, so if I go under Spotify and click under credits, it's gonna show your name. It's like, no, it's just all gonna be just blank. It's like you can't take the credit for it. who gets paid for the streams.
Don't hate on my homie King Kunta, okay?
Right,
You don't
yeah.
know him like I do.
Like I do, yeah. It's like, man, we go way back.
We go way back.
Yeah, no, that's crazy how that is, though, because I would have probably thought the same thing now, you know, like in this day and age with AI and how crazy it sounds real. Had I not known about, you know, people uploading other artists' unreleased stuff under a different name on like Spotify or Apple Music, I would have thought it was AI as well, or somebody trying to sound like them. You know how you have like those like Juice World clones and stuff like that. Like, so I was just like listening to music earlier today, had my, you know, earbuds in or whatever, and I happened to hear a song come on because it was on shuffle. It was like hip hop, you know, like just a hip hop sort of thing. Just put it on shuffle. Didn't know what was gonna play. So then I hear a song come on, and I'm like, I made a joke in my head, and I was like, you know, how it's like the meme format. It's like, hey mom, can we go get this? It's like, no, we have this at home. Well, this guy ended up sounding like he was sounding like Tory Lanez, and I was just like, but I could tell it wasn't him. And so like I made the joke in my head before I even like checked on my phone to see who it was. It was like, hey mom, can we go like listen to, you know, can we go see Tory Lanez? Like, no, we have Tory Lanez at home, and it's this guy that I'm listening to right now. And so I checked the, you know, the song that was playing, and it was a guy featuring Tory Lanez, but it wasn't Tory that was singing at the time that I thought. I was like, okay, so I was right, but at the same time, Tory's featured on this song. So when his verse came out, I was like, yeah, now that's Tory Lanez. But I'm like, the guy that was just singing before him was trying to sound so much like him. And I'm like, were they using the same vocal chain, like the same processing chain? Or was this dude just literally trying so hard to sound like a clone of Tory? And I'm, you know, I didn't get what was going on, but the song wasn't bad. It's just like I said, you could tell it wasn't who you might have thought it was. But at first, initially, you're like, oh, maybe it is them. And then you find out like, oh, no, it's not.
Yeah, that's a very funny twist that the actual guy was actually in the song.
Yeah, in the
like,
song of
that's
the clone.
why he's trying to be him.
Yeah, he's like,
in the
it's because
song.
he's on the song with him. Like, if any-
I mean, you know, maybe he's normally better than that too. Maybe normally not. I mean, maybe he's just really trying to do that for the song. Like if I tried really hard to sound like Future in a song, I don't know if I'd be at my best.
Right. But like if you were to like try, you know, sound like really aggressive, like maybe like old school Eminem or whatever, I'm sure you'd be able to pull it off. But like, would you only do that on a song, like if Eminem's featured on it, or if you're featured on, you know, vice versa? Like if you were featured on his song, like would you try to sound like that purposely?
No.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's like you got to just have your own style and don't try to sound like other people, and you're good. You know?
Yeah, I agree. And I think that like that goes towards the whole idea of just, you know, I like to say to everybody all the time, what my whole MO is just be yourself, bruh. Just be yourself. Just whatever
hard.
it is that you do, go do that best.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, I just think that that's the thing, man. Just go out there and be yourself. Just do that. And I think a lot of people forget how to do that. And that's a big problem in life. You see a lot of people who are just wandering aimlessly throughout this universe, and they forget that like when you are the person that just dives into whatever it is that you do, you can really expand on that in ways that you can't even imagine right now. And that makes life so much better when you're doing the thing that you want to do. You know? It just contributes to the overall quality of your life, right? Like you're telling yourself, you know what, I can do that thing that I think I'm good at, and then you just get better and better and better at it.
You just end up feeling more genuine when you're not trying to sound like somebody else.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's like, for example, when I started in, you know, back in 2019.
Well, and let me just say,
Oh, yeah.
when you're trying to sound like someone else, you don't get that. You don't get proficient at sounding like yourself. Like, that's the big thing I think a lot of people miss when they're trying to, and for the example that you mentioned, I'm sure he must just be doing it for that song. I'm going to guess that.
Because I've never heard him prior to that. So like I said, like that was my first impression of the guy. And I'm like, he literally sounds like he's trying to sound like Tory Lanez, but I could tell, like, you know, like one half of me is like, oh, that kind of sounds like him. The other half of me is like, no, I know that that's not him. You know?
Yeah.
You're like kind of, having that argument or that debate with yourself. It's kind of like, is this him? No, it's not. Are you sure? Yeah, I'm sure.
But like, I don't think you're right when you said that you don't want that to be the case. And I feel like, if you were Tory Lanez, you're not going to be particularly impressed by the guy that's going to be trying to sound like you. You're going to be impressed by the guy that blows you away with his unique performance that is unlike anything you've ever seen before, The
uniqueness is very important, in my opinion.
And everybody has that uniqueness. And that's why I say, like, be yourself. That's my whole thing. And you're never going to be yourself if you're trying to be that other person. So if you spend all your time I'll shout out the last episode of this podcast with Crackalack. We had a great conversation talking about this, but it's just like, when you're not being yourself, you're taking away from. I think I wish I could say it the way he said it, because he put it very well. But the whole idea is like, frame things like when you're holding a camera. This is kind of how he said it. When you're holding a camera, don't think, oh, how would a professional director do this? How would somebody that I really look up to do this? How would somebody good do this?
Like, how would I do this?
How would I do this?
Yeah.
Exactly. And once you master that and you start framing things in that way, and even when you start telling the story that way, like, people are more interested when you say, this is how I did this.
Yeah, it's a different approach, something that they're not used to. And so they'd be, like you said, it like piques, people's interest. Like, they'll be like, what made you want to do it that way?
It's just a better story to tell people. It's a better story to tell yourself. Like,
it's fresh.
How am I going to do this?
Yeah.
And when you're trying to do what other people are doing, you're not doing it. You're doing something else. You're doing what you think other people would want to see or do, and you're not going to get better at doing you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
And it's just like, I think it's lost on so many people, man. It makes me sad because people are so unique, and that's like, I love talking to people for that reason. I love seeing the different things that people pull out of one another, because it's not just what people have to offer, it's the way that we push and pull from one another. It's one of the reasons I love to do this podcast one-on-one, because I think that there's a unique thing that happens there that you can't get with 3 people, you can't get with 4. You can still have something fun, but you don't have the same thing.
Right. It's not like a copy and pasted sort of attribute, but I was just thinking of like, if you can study people that you might look up to, or like you enjoy listening to, or whatever it is that you do as a creative, but you don't want to mimic exactly what they do, because like I said, like 2019 is when I started making beats. But I happened to see a couple of people, like internet money members, like producers on Twitter, that would be like, oh, like, you guys need to stop trying to like sound exactly like us. It's like, pave your own path. And they weren't saying that to be rude, but they're saying that because like they could tell that like a lot of people, like especially younger people, like getting into, making beats and whatnot, would watch a YouTube video of one of the internet money members make a beat, and they would literally make that copy and paste beat. Like, they would literally be like, okay, so he used this plugin, he set it to this amount, and like he used a filter and like it did this. So they would literally do exactly what they do in the video to make a beat, and they would post it, and they'd be like, dude, like, you literally did exactly what I did in the video. Like, that's not what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to take away key elements to learn and, like, make your own beats, make your own melodies. Don't make the exact same thing that I made in the video. It's like a cover, for example. When somebody's doing a cover, you don't try your best to sound exactly like that artist. You have to add your own little twist to it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's like the essence of a true master, going back to that, the essence of somebody who's like truly doing them. Once you're so good at it, once you understand what you're doing, you're not going to do all of that. You never were. It never occurred to you. You just do whatever you do, and then that's what happens. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Does that make sense? I mean, like, I think, I don't know, man. I like, if I'm going to hit up a beat, I'm going to represent myself in the best way possible. That's how I've always approached it. It's like, what is Ruse on this beat right here, right now? And I don't know how you could not have that mentality. Like, what are you even doing writing songs if you're not thinking that? Like, yeah, this song ain't shit, but, it's all right. Like, what? What are you talking about?
Like you're okay with putting that out if you're not like all there, you know, like if you're not like, okay, I did what I could do best on this track, you know, you gotta think that way versus like, yeah, like you said, like this song's all right, but I'm gonna push it out there. It's like, well, did you actually take the time to make sure it was somewhat of quality versus just I'm just trying to make like 10 songs in like a month?
Yeah. And yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. Because, I mean, I had a great conversation on the podcast, too, with Cameron Tyler. And he was telling me a lot about how a lot of the music you make and what you're doing is you're playing kind of to the audience. Like, if you want your music to truly work, the way that someone who works in marketing especially would look at it would be, you need to play to whatever that audience is looking for.
Yep.
And so that kind of adds a layer of difficulty in it because it's like, well, how do I find a way to genuinely insert myself into that format? Like, how do I make that work? Because that's a whole other thing. You know what I'm saying? How do I make it so I can go on a trap beat and I'm still being the Ruse that I believe I am? Like, you know, it's 808s and I'm supposed to be rapping about hoes and lean, and instead I'm rapping about bros and jeans.
Bros and jeans. There you go, bro. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and like, yeah, like you said, and you know, it's a different approach for sure. One example, a good example is my buddy Dannon, who him and I have been working together. I've been making beats and he would rap on them or whatever. But he recently has been telling me, he's like, dude, he's like, I like working with you and other producers because it kind of pushes me outside of my boundaries and what I'm used to as an artist and like, you know, like a rapper, a lyricist. And instead of him only like making the beats and then him rapping on the beats that he makes, he's getting different, like a variety, you know, it's pushing him to be more of like a versatile artist. And I respect that. So he's like, yeah, like just keep making beats, you know, and if you think that I'd hop on it or I'd sound good on it, like just let me know and send them to me. And like we've been like coming out with songs. Like I think he's got one coming out in like a week and then like one after that. He's been trying to do like at least once every week. He used to be like one every other week, but he kind of took last month off. But him and I have been just kind of like, you know, like locking in and grinding. And he's not used to really like hopping on some like dark trap beats, but like he's starting to kind of get a feel for them. So it's kind of like I'm kind of like helping create him as an artist, you know, versus him just doing like his own lane, which there's nothing wrong with, you know, being an artist and having your own lane. But like even me being like a producer, like if I work with somebody who does like reggae beats or whatever, like I wouldn't mind working with them. You know what I'm saying? It's like I would just have to kind of push myself out there to catch a groove or a vibe with what they do and kind of like match. You gotta, you know, kind of compromise as creatives. You gotta meet in the middle and see what works best.
Well, and that's kind of where the beauty of the collaboration is, in my opinion, is meeting in the middle. I mean, someone once told me that the truth is in the middle, and I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, because that's implying there is a truth. But they said that the truth is in the middle. Like, whatever I say, whatever you say, the truth has to be in the middle because where else is it? And that's an interesting way to look at it. But I do think that, like, there's definitely magic in the middle. Like, if there's not truth there, there's magic there. And so much happens in that interesting mingle between each and every one of us. And that goes for, as you said, like when you branch out and do collaborations with people that have completely different styles than you and they're doing a whole different thing than you. It kind of, in a way, I think it usually teaches you a lot of things about yourself when you do branch out and you make those choices. And it reminds you of that lesson that life seems to constantly remind us of, which is that the only way you learn is by being available, by being out there, and by seeking that information and willing to take those choices that will get you in a situation that's completely foreign than what you're usually doing, it's alien to sitting in your bedroom and watching a TV show.
It could be
a whole different
life-changing.
thing. It could be life-changing.
Yeah.
Or it could be a complete flop, but you'll even learn from that too. It's the fact that you're putting yourself in these situations that is really that's what you should feel good about. But, I think life is a learning process, I suppose, is what I'm getting at here.
It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to take it, step by step. You can't just like leap from like, oh, I just started out, making music or whatever, to like jumping to like, oh, I've worked with some of the biggest people in the game. Like, I think NF had some lyrics, like in a older song of his. He talked about, he's like, oh, that artist, like that you like listening to. I'm like paraphrasing. He basically said like, that artist that just, like you just heard come on the radio, like they didn't just start making music. Like they've been at it for years. Like they've been, on the grind for like maybe 5 to 10 years before they maybe even longer. Some people, have been at it for like at least 20 years. And like they just now got their like first break, like their major, like label deal or whatever, or like their, song went viral. And it's like, those are the type of people that you want to kind of like follow, because, they didn't give up, but like they knew one day they'd make it. They didn't know when, but like they knew they'd make it regardless.
Yeah. 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 You have to know that you will make it, and you have to have that determination. But you also, because that's kind of what we were getting at before. But I think that it comes with the balance of also being open to the fact that there are a million things you don't know, that magic in the middle, that collaboration, that essence of the beauty within, like, I am all of my ideas and my thoughts and my dream of achieving this goal, but there's also a whole universe that I have to face in order to make that happen. Like, I have all of these odds against me, and that's what's going to make it happen. Like, without that universe, you don't have your dream. And so there's a magic in that. But it's like recognizing that and being comfortable with that, I feel like, is really, because it's a chase, man.
It is.
It's a chase. It's not as simple as, like, it's hours and hours and hours and hours for a real goal that you really believe in, like a real dream. One thing that you were saying when you first got here is the people who became millionaires after they were 30, I believe. Yeah, and millionaires is just one way to frame it. But there's a million ways. There's a million people who didn't get recognized until they were older. And it depends on what you even want to consider recognition, right? Because you could have all types of accolades, but fame is a whole different thing. Like, it could just be meaningful to have done a lot of meaningful things. It doesn't have to be recognized in a social sense.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people get caught up in that, and it's a human thing. It makes sense. But there's plenty of people who didn't really achieve a large amount of success until they were late in their life. And when you think on relative terms like that, I think it really puts things into a completely different perspective. I think it allows for people to, I don't know, I think that we frame things in our own minds in like this major way. Like, we're looking at it,
time limits almost, as if it's like, I need to achieve this before I'm this age.
Well, yeah, I need to achieve this before I'm this age, and also, but also, like, we'll create a reason why we can't achieve that by that age. Like, we'll say that we're gonna do that, but then we'll, like, along the way we'll be like, oh yeah, but, and then you just don't work for that thing, and then you miss the time limit that you created for yourself. Like, I think we're really good at doing that.
I feel like it's in human nature is like to just, come up with excuses.
Yeah.
And you might not think to yourself that it's an excuse, but if you say something like that to somebody else, they'll be like, I'm calling you on your bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, that's why would you like not chase your goals just because you think like, oh, like I'm too old,
Yeah.
And it's funny because Dan and I, like, so occasionally him and I will hop in like Discord and just, have like a video chat and just kind of talk about music and, like what we're going to be doing or whatever. But he was like, yeah, because like I think he said he's like 23 and he's like, how old are you? I'm like, I'll be 25 next month. And he's like, damn. He's like, I didn't know you were like a few years older than me. He's like, I thought we were like the same age. And I was like, dude, I didn't know. Same with you, But He was like, dude, you ever feel like, it's like you're too old, like you're not gonna, get the recognition you think you deserve, or like you feel like it's just too late to like meet your goals and dreams? And I was like, no, not at all. So I kind of like, had a talk with him. I was like, dude, there's people like I, like looked up to, that haven't, like we talked about, they didn't like hit like success until they were in their 30s or whatever. And it's like everybody has different definitions or measurements of what success is, but you can't just like set like a certain time limit or an age limit on like when you have to meet those goals, because it's like if you set that kind of limit on like goals that like they're not, it's not something that's like, oh, I have to drink like a gallon of water a day. Like that's a goal that you can easily meet, it's like that's something like, sure, yeah, that's measurable, but that's something like that's definitely easily obtainable. But something crazy like, oh yeah, I'm gonna work with like Travis Scott within the next year or two, it's like, hold your horses. It's like you got to set realistic goals first before you can set goals like that are like, I'm not saying that's impossible, but like you got to set goals more like I'm gonna work with like 3 upcoming artists before I can,
Well, like I was saying before, lay the groundwork to that goal.
Yep.
If that's your goal, lay the groundwork to there. Like, let's not say I'm gonna work with Travis Scott and just stop there.
Right.
Wait. How are you going to achieve that one?
Yeah, it's literally like a giant leap in like anybody's like career or whatever. So I told him basically, I was like, dude, no. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be turning 25, but like I didn't start making beats until about like 4 years ago. So I've had people like friends and family or whatever tell me like, you only been making beats since 2019. Like they sound radio ready, like professional. And I was like, I appreciate that. Like, back then, like even a year ago, like when I've had people tell me that, I'm like, I didn't really think so. I'm just kind of doing this because it's fun, but I appreciate, you telling me that. And like for the longest, I would kind of like think to myself, like, maybe they're telling me that because that's what I want to hear. And I'm like, in reality, like, I just want to hear like your truth, like what do you honestly think about it? But then again, like now, that I am confident in my work, I look back and I'm like, well, maybe they were telling me the truth, but who knows? Like it's just such a subjective thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And I feel like a lot of that when you're seeking out musical advice, it's real dangerous to show it to family and friends, in my opinion.
It's got to be random people on the internet.
Yeah, random people on the internet, or I don't know. I guess the right friends.
Yeah,
but just not any friends.
The people, like the friends that would tell you, like if you're in a relationship with a girl, and like if they tell you, because me and my buddy had a friend, a mutual friend, and I'm not gonna say who, obviously, but he had a girlfriend that just wasn't right for him, and like she was taking advantage of him hardcore, and he didn't see it. And my friend and I were telling him, like, dude, she's not good for you. Like, you need to break up with her. He's like, yeah, I mean, she's got her issues or whatever, but like, we love each other. I'm like, no, dude, like, she's not good for you. Like, we were telling him the stuff, like the things he didn't want to hear, but the stuff he needed to hear. And obviously he learned the hard way by, experiencing it and going through it. But I mean, he knows now that like if we're telling him something, it's because it's something he needs to hear and not something he wants to hear. And those are the friends you want to have around.
Yeah. Yeah. It's tough to find the real ones, man.
Mm-hmm.
Because, that's why they're the real ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, my goal, as I said, my MO is to get some more real ones out here. If we could all just be ourselves, I think we'd have some more real ones. People like when you're real.
It's more enjoyable to live life around people who are real with you versus people that like just tell you what you want to hear or what they think you want to hear. Not only that, but it's like, you don't want them like going behind your back and like talking shit about you, and like, but to your face, they're like, oh, hey, how you doing? Like, it's like, cut that shit out. Like you really don't care. But like you said, it's like if we had more people who were like real with you up front, like just hanging out with you, like it's easy to just vibe. It's easier to just, like there's not drama that's going on. And I hate to say it, but a lot of people actually live off of drama. Like they thrive on it. And I don't understand why. I'm like, sure, in a television show, I get it, because that's entertainment. But like for people that like, like to stir the pot or whatever, it's like there's no reason to be doing that,
Well, I mean, I'll say that I find those people to be entertaining.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's entertaining. Yeah. Like if you're like just kind of like not even in the situation, you're just kind of looking back and you're like, huh, oh, so-and-so cheated on them. Oh, but they just took him back. That's
Well,
wild.
what's interesting about those people is that, like I was saying earlier, like how like the people who are negative like put out their negativity. Those
Yeah.
people with drama put out their drama and they get drama back, and like they'll
They wonder
always
why.
have stories. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Like some of those people, like you'll just be chilling and they'll walk in and they'll be like, "Oh my God! So today my boyfriend had my dog and he kidnapped my dog. He had it for like 3 whole days locked in his basement. I called him. I told him he cannot have it, and he took it anyway. And it was locked in his basement. I bet he didn't even feed it. And I went over there and the door was locked. And his mom was there, and his mom said I had to leave, and they'll just this crazy story, and just has so many twists and turns. Like those people, it's amazing. Like what perplexes me is how they can continue to have more stories. They'll continue to arrive and have another fantastic, amazing story that you could make a whole TV episode
Script
out
writing,
of.
dude. It's like, like literally, that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, as you're like saying it or whatever, I think I'm like, did this actually happen? Like, if so, then like you said, like they can make a whole TV show out of it. It's like, geez, like this almost seems like this just sounds fake, but who knows? I'm like, it literally just entertainment for you and I to just see somebody post something like that. And it's like, I won't comment on it. Like I actually had a buddy of mine who DM'd me on Facebook, and he was like, yo, check out so-and-so. Like, did you see their post? Cause like we're mutual friends or whatever. And I'm just kind of like, yeah, why? And he's just like, oh my God, dude. He's like, I got popcorn ready. Just like, I'm watching, seeing what's going down. And I'm just kind of like, dude, like you're living off this right now. Like you might as well be like watching one of those like Bachelor shows, And it's just like, I think it's funny that like people literally like that's like their form of entertainment, and like they kind of value that in a way where it's just kind of like, I'm not going to watch a movie. I'm going to see what they're doing online, because they're going to post all of their business and what's going on. It's like, you kind of got to live more of a laid back private life. You can't post all of your personal issues and problems out there on the internet, because then people can use that against you.
Yeah. There's levels to that too.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like, in my opinion, there's like, do you want to post your family? Do you want to post your family and friends and your personal life and all of that? And then it goes beyond that to like, do you want to post your personal drama and the way you're feeling about so-and-so and this and that? Because those are two completely different scenarios. I mean, some people are so private, they don't even want to be posting anything at all except whatever they're promoting. And other than that, they'll stay off social media.
Right. They're
I
kind of like
applaud those
mysterious.
people.
Yeah. Like they don't really have much of a presence online other than like what you said. Like, let's say they're sharing, like they're supporting their friends, like local business or whatever. They'll share the post, but like other than that, like they won't post anything of their own on there, So it's kind of like, I see you, like you're posting something. You don't post often, but like, I mean, at least you're, sharing, like you're giving love to whoever it is, like your friend or a family member or whatever. But like you said, it's like you kind of like just applaud people like that just aren't on there posting negativity 24/7. It's just like, that's why for the most part, like I don't use social media other than, okay, for like memes. Obviously, got to get the memes. And then for like content about like music and like artists and stuff like that. Like that's how I'm able to reach other artists and whatnot, just by, DMing and stuff like that. It's just like, it's kind of like you can use social media for bad. Yeah, like you can see it as bad, which a lot of people do because they're like, oh, it's nothing but negativity. But that's just like what they choose to see, like especially with algorithms nowadays. Like I'm like, I don't see what you're seeing. Like they're like, oh my God, like I see people getting beheaded on Twitter. And I'm like, I don't see that. I'm like, I'm seeing, like the stuff that like I interact with which is like, music producers and like artists and whatnot, and then like, like finance stuff. Like that's literally it. That's it, so there might be a reason why you're seeing people being beheaded.
I think part of the problem is people don't realize how a lot of these algorithms work, and like there is a show me less button, and there's a way to get away from a lot of content.
Not show this again.
Yeah, like every single social media nowadays seems to have that. But yeah, I mean, social media to me is best as a tool, and I've been trying to find a way to get away from it if I can. I mean, in a beautiful future, I won't be doing all of this stuff myself, and I will have a bunch of people working with me, and I'll be able to stay away from it a little bit more.
Yeah, it'd be like a team,
Yes, because, dude, to me, the only reason I use social media is to connect with people. That's it. Like, to reach out with people for something like this, or to share an idea that I think might be useful to somebody.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
If I see something on some post on social media and I'm like, that's interesting, I'll share that.
Right.
But it's not like I'm endorsing anything. I'm just like, that's cool. I wonder
like
what
that's
other
a good
people
thought.
will think of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I wonder what conversation that might start. That's cool. But I'm not endorsing it. I'm just like, that's an interesting thought.
Yeah.
And like to me, that's how my ideal version of how to use social media is just, put some ideas out there. If you see something cool, share it.
If it helps you out, then you're welcome, but it's not like you're expecting anything.
Would you say it's not what?
Not like you're expecting anything, you just...
Yeah, and well, it's not like you're expecting anything, and you don't want to invest too much into it, because when you spend all this time, all this energy, and all...
It drains you, it does.
It drains you, and what are you even doing? Like, and I'm talking about, I suppose in the way I'm thinking about it is if somebody's fighting and somebody's in drama on social media, but it's not even just that. It's just wasting your day away. Even scrolling on it is a bit much, but if you're posting and you're just I've seen a lot of people who they'll post a lot and it'll always get like 2 or 3 likes. Mm-hmm. And I just wonder, like, in their brain, what are they doing this for?
Yeah, like, what is the purpose of you doing this?
Yeah, I really wonder. And I'm not criticizing them. I'm legitimately curious. I'm thinking, like, what is the value to this in your brain? Like, what's the difference between this and you just writing this down in a journal for yourself? Like, why does this have to be a shared experience?
Right.
And I think those are two fundamentally different things. And you kind of wire your brain in this weird way where you're starting to post all these thoughts now that don't need to be shared, to the point where, just random stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've seen so many people who just overshare so much, and then they don't even get much of a response, but they just continue to do it. And I just cannot make sense of it. Twitter's a lot of that. There's a whole lot of Twitter accounts.
Everybody's brain.
Everybody. Well, they'll get 2 or 3 likes, and they're just thinking, one day I'll get that tweet that'll pop off, so I'm just going to keep at this. I'll master the whole art of Twitter. And
some people aren't worried about what they post. They'll literally put whatever that's on their mind, And I'm like, did you not think before you hit the send tweet button? Like, there's people that'll, reply with the meme that says, like, you can still delete this. Like, there's still time to delete this. Like, the what was it? Like, they say the best time to tweet or to delete this was when you first posted it. The second best time is now. And I'm like, it makes me laugh because I'm like, I agree with them. I'm like, dude, this is so out of pocket. What made you think, oh yeah, this is gonna be a banger? I'm like, you gotta think before you just hit send.
But you get so deep in the social media and the idea of it. And I think that the best thing you can do is just let go. Yeah. The best thing you can do is just stop holding on so tightly to this idea that, social media has to be this form of communication for you, and just let go of that. Because I think a lot of, at least what I've observed in myself, and this is why I'm so passionate about the idea of doing that, because I need to follow my own advice. Because I keep finding myself like, man, I'm not even living, dude. I'm not even living. I'm walking through day to day, and I'm just staring at this little fucking brick in my hand.
Right.
Waiting for it to tell me something new. Waiting for it to show me something good. And there's a million days that I could pass by, and I could still keep seeing something new in this brick. But there's a whole world. I'm on a gigantic fucking brick.
Yeah.
That's floating in the sky.
Just the idea of life itself is this beautiful thing. The fact that you can walk around and you can smell the roses. That you can stop and you can smell the roses. That's why they say it. Stop and smell the roses, because there's something beautiful about just enjoying that essence of nature, of life, of the fact that everything is as it is and it will exist with or without. And it's all just there. And you fucking get sucked into this device. That doesn't occur to you anymore. Those thoughts don't happen when you're not feeling nature and you're not feeling the real world. And I hate catching myself getting separated from that, because when kids don't have that, I think that's one of the reasons kids are so
happier and they're more creative when they're not, like you said, kind of like just bound by like this brick in your hand. You're not like I feel like, so for the most part it steals not only your time but like your happiness, your energy, and like, what was it, like last weekend or whatever, me and a couple buddies went out and went like longboarding, and we just went like, into some trails or whatever. And it was nice because like it was, we were just in nature. We got lost in nature. And it's just like, like that's what I feel like more people need than to just be like locked up inside, and just scrolling through their phone, because like you're not gonna find happiness there. Like, yeah, you might get like a laugh out of like something or whatever, but like that's just very temporary. But like if you like just go outside and like you said, like smell the roses, like, just do something outside, and like you would feel happier about like the life you live. You'd be like, wow, I'm blessed to be here, versus just, oh, I'm depressed, like I don't want to be here. It's like, okay, but like, are you doing anything about that? And I'm not saying taking medication necessarily. I'm just saying, like, are you going outside? Are you going for a jog? Are you making sure you're drinking enough water? It's like, are you doing these things before you, just like waste your life away?
Yeah, are you in the real world, man? Because it's so easy to waste a life away. I think that's why it's bothering me, because I know how easy it is, because I've been doing it, and I think everybody's doing it, and I think it's something we can only. It's almost an impossible task. That's why I say in a beautiful world, I have a team that's doing a lot of this stuff, because I don't even really want to be on social media. If I could just not have to post on there and just have somebody else posting, I could genuinely just let go of it and not even worry about it. I don't give a fuck, dude.
I was
don't
thinking
care.
that same exact thing earlier before I came over. Like, you get those like shower thoughts or whatever, and I'm just kind of like, man, I'm like, if I didn't have to worry about like reaching out to artists or posting my beats and stuff, like if I wasn't using it for a tool like that, I wouldn't mind just like deleting and deactivating like all my social media accounts. Like, it doesn't like really take much of a toll on me right now, but like it's just like I could definitely live life without it. And I've heard that there's people out there that will literally like delete their accounts because they don't need it for anything like at all. And then, they would tell like other people like, wow, like my mental state has been like so much better since. You know?
Because we forgot what that was.
Yeah.
Like, dude, it's so weird. I remember growing up and my mom didn't give me a cell phone for a minute. And when I did get a phone, it was a Nokia phone.
Yeah.
And then when I think around, it was either before that or right around that time, I had an iPod. So I never had an iPhone or anything like that. And then after that, I had a tablet, which was like a gigantic like tablet. So it was a while till I had a phone. I had texting apps and all that.
Yeah. I remembered having the same thing. Like, I had like the iPod Touch 3rd gen or whatever before I had an iPhone. And so like if you're on Wi-Fi, you can make calls with the phone apps that they had, the free phone apps. And it would like, give you your own phone number, but it wasn't going to be like an 810 number. It was going to be some random one that they give you. And same thing with the texting apps, like you could text friends or whatever and be like, oh, hey, like what's your, like if they had the same thing, like, if they had an iPod and not an iPhone, it's like, hey, I could text you, but like I got to be on Wi-Fi. Like there's no data, it's like you literally are bound to like being connected to Wi-Fi to be able to text somebody. So like imagine like, you're out enjoying life, like you're not going to worry about like trying to check social media or like getting, text from people because you won't be able to, because you're just like, you have to have Wi-Fi in order to do stuff like that. Well, if you're out in nature, like the majority of the time is like, there's no internet out there.
Yeah. Yeah. And and that's why I say we've changed so much so quickly, because this was no question 20 years ago. This was no question. This was a silly conversation that wouldn't exist. It would be outlandish for us to even be discussing this. Oh, people are lost in phones? What are you even saying? Lost in what?
Like, what are they
lost in
doing?
phones?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Like, it would sound like some type of cult talk.
Like, are they having like a group conversation on the phone? It's like, no, they're using like the internet and social media. What is all that stuff?
Yeah, exactly. And nowadays we don't even recognize how morphed our idea of things are because of it. And I just mean even on a smaller scale of like our reward systems and the way that we think about like what should I be doing right now? What's a proper use of my time as I sit here?
Right, like
just these little things in life that aren't even that deep, but when they expand outward, the fact that we have these behavior patterns is shocking.
I mean, and at least like there's people like, like you and I that like we realize like we're kind of wasting our lives away on the days that we are, because it's like I could be doing something more productive, but instead I'm choosing my time to just watch plenty of YouTube videos.
So, a little birdie told me that you made your first beat sale on BeatStars.
Indeed, I did.
What?
It was kind of cool. So I was just like on a spree of like uploading. I think I have like at least 82 beats on my beat store now. But before I only had like maybe 20 at most. Well, like it was like I was in the Tim Hortons drive-thru line and I hear a notification from my phone. So I look down and I see it and it was like, congrats, you just made a beat sale. And I was like, what? And then like immediately after, I get a notification from PayPal saying like, so someone sent you $50. And I was like, wow. Like I just wasn't like expecting it. So it like really like surprised me. And I was like, I didn't know anybody like knew my beat store. It's like I never really was promoting it much. Like I would upload my beats on, my TikTok and Instagram page and YouTube occasionally, but like I never was like, oh yeah, go buy my beats at my, on BeatStars. Like I wasn't like that, so it just like was kind of, it threw me off when I was in the drive-thru and I got that notification and I happened to look at who it was and I didn't recognize. Like it was just somebody I don't know.
Well, those are the people that are going to be that though. It's like the random rapper who stumbles upon your beat on YouTube. They're like, oh, okay, this is like, they looked up whatever type of beat and they found you because they wanted to make this style song. Completely random how they found you, and they're like, whoa, this is nice. I want to buy this. How much does this cost? And then they scroll to your description. Oh, there's the BeatStars right there. Oh, only $50?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll pay $50 for this. And you never know who that person's going to be. And so, yeah, I mean, I'm sure it was something like that. I'm sure it was your YouTube with a beat and then boom, just like it. Or it could have been anything, I suppose. But like, I know a lot of those YouTube-driven sales have to be similar stories because it's just a lot of rappers who need a beat. And as long as you can market it to them the right way, if you can give them the sound that they're looking for, then boom, you did what you needed to do. So Instagram and the other one you said was
like YouTube Shorts.
Oh yes, YouTube Shorts. But I thought you said Facebook. Something other than
I did on TikTok as well. Like
TikTok.
I would post, like just snippets
TikTok
of my
will do
beats.
it.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, I could have been TikTok as well. Do you have your BeatStars link down there though?
I can't because I don't have 1,000 followers yet. So you can't link anything, which I was trying to figure out before I found out about that. I was like, well, I see other people with like, a link tree or like their beat store, link in their bio or whatever. But I'm like, how did they get that? So I Googled it and, it was like TikTok had their requirements. Like you have to have at least 1,000 followers before you could put a link in your page. Not only that, but also to go live. So in order to go live, you got to have at least 1,000 followers. And I'm like, well, dang, that sucks. Because I'm like, what if I wanted to just like have my phone sitting, next to me, like while I'm like cooking up a beat or whatever. It's because like, people find that, like somewhat enjoyable to watch, like if they enjoy watching YouTube cook-ups or whatever, people on Twitch live streaming, like why wouldn't they want to do that on TikTok, because if they're already scrolling through anyways, how many artists I've like come across just scrolling through TikTok and like their live feed would pop up and I would stop and listen for a minute and like some of them I'd be like, wow, like they're really good. And so that would like incentivize me to follow them and like, possibly reach out to work with them. So it's like Twitch doesn't really have that, that incentive for people to like come across your page. Like they would have to like literally be looking for you in a way. Like they'd have to be like, oh yeah, let me click on like the music category and then see all these different people. And they'd have to like manually choose that versus if you're on like TikTok live, you'd scroll through and you would see like their, live pop up. I'm sure people have come across your TikTok lives just by randomly scrolling through their feed and they see you pop up and they stop, and pop in and be like, they weren't following you before. So how would they know that you went live?
Yeah, and I've noticed that even other social medias don't really promote the lives like that. Like Instagram, you go live, it's not really like that. Facebook, you're going live for your family and friends. YouTube, you can go live, but you still, I don't think, get the pull that something like TikTok will give you. And yeah, I've went live on TikTok quite a bit. And I've noticed one thing that's really interesting about going live on TikTok is that you develop a different relationship with your audience than what you would develop in any other way. It's super interesting, man. I mean, there's people who shout out Danny and shout out Marty. Those are the two there's the king and the queen of the Coop Troop, which was developed on TikTok Live. The Coop Troop is my fan group name.
Okay.
Because I got my roosters, my chickens.
I like that.
And my roosters.
The ruse, yeah, I like that.
So Danny and Marty are the king and the queen of the Coop. Love those guys, and I wouldn't have them if it weren't for TikTok Live. And so I think, that's a beautiful thing to utilize, and it's a shame that it's locked away to people who only have 1,000 followers. I understand why they do it, but
and make you work for it, which, like I like you said, like I understand why they do it. Otherwise, literally everyone would be live.
Well, and the scamming, a lot of it probably has to do with scamming too.
Oh, that would make sense. Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, it's very, very easy with the way that they share lives. Because like I said, other social medias don't do it like TikTok does. They're very, very, they endorse and embrace the live. They want the live to be something that people do because it keeps people on the platform. It keeps the creator on the platform, and people send gifts, so they make money off of it.
Make money.
Yeah, it's a whole market for them.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I feel like the way that they approach lives is a lot different than other social medias, just in the way that they'll enforce certain things, and it's a whole different animal. And I can understand why they would go for 1,000 for that reason, because you see all kinds of spam on TikTok. You see all kinds of spam on Instagram, but
and same thing,
I guess not
with Twitter.
lives.
Yeah.
And Twitter,
on Twitter, like the
Twitter.
replies. You're like, if you need help with getting your account back, message so and so. And it's like you could tell like right away that that's like a scam bot account. But like you said with like TikTok, I guess it'd be harder to do if you need to meet that goal of 1,000 followers before you can go live.
Well. Yeah, and it gives at least somewhat of a barrier to that person who's trying to scam. Because I'll still scroll past these pre-recorded scam lives all the time. I don't know if you've seen any of these where it's like clearly bait for people to just send in money so they can get gifts really quickly before TikTok bans them. Like it's just that you can tell what it is as soon as you see it. But it's something that people have done that you can only do through TikTok. I really love TikTok as a platform, though, in terms of like the way that you can generate a fan base and an organic group of people that is a lot more connected with the type of content that you produce. I mean, I think that's one interesting, unique thing about it, and the lives kind of feed into that even more. Because if I go live and it's just me freestyle rapping, or it's just me being myself, the people who I'm going to draw in are people who like what I'm doing, or they like me, they like what I'm presenting here, and also TikTok's good at keeping it within those niches and all that. It likes to try to figure that out. So if you play your lives to whatever that niche is, you can really make those pop and work. And like you said, you can connect with people in a way that and be like, oh, this guy's cool. I'm going to check this guy's stuff out. I used to do a lot of freestyle lives. That was where it all started, kind of. And then I just kind of branched out from those into just like, I'll just talk to people now. I'll just pull up my phone and be like, yo, what's up, guys? Blah, 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 blah.
I hopped into one of them
you've
not
seen
too long
these.
ago. Yeah, and you're like, oh, hold on, I'm going to go get my food out of the microwave right quick or whatever. And I'm just kind of like, like you just have that like ecstatic character where it's like, somebody will like say something in the chat or whatever, and you're like, oh, no way, you know, and you're like, well, and then you'll ask them a question. It's almost like you're like interviewing them one-on-one through the live, and then somebody else will say something, and then you'll do the same thing with them.
Yeah.
So it's like you just have that like likable character where like it's easy to just talk to you, and you talk back. Like it's not just you sitting there like looking through, the replies, and you're like, that's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Bro,
you're not boring.
Those lives wear me down though, because I tell myself, all right, this time I'm gonna put the phone on, I'm gonna do the live, I'm gonna put it to the side, I'm not even gonna pay attention, I'm just gonna do whatever I was going to do. And then I'll be looking at the phone like, oh snap. Oh, hey, what's up, man? What's up, Terminator 3000? Happy to have you back. No, this is not a new shirt. I've had this shirt for like 3 weeks. Thank you very much. And my mom got I'll just start talking like
just
that,
random,
and I'll just start rolling, and I can't stop myself. It's bad. It's bad, but it's also a gift. My gift is a curse. I recognize this. Those lives are
sword.
A dangerous game for me.
Yep.
Yeah, because I love doing them, and I'm glad to hear you say all that. But man, every time I go live, I'm like, all right, here we go. And then you saw it, for an hour and a half straight, I will talk. I don't think I pause once. I just go. It's like, and it just never ends. And then when I stop the live, I'm like, all right, I think I'm going to lay down for a minute.
Yeah, you're like, that really was exhausting. It was like a chore. Like,
but it wasn't. That's the problem.
Yeah.
I just
like you enjoy it, but
I enjoy it too much. I'm too on.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, hey guys, what's up? And then I'm trying to all right. So I'm not gonna talk this much. I'm gonna do this other thing. And then I look at the phone. I'm like, oh, hey. And then I talk for another 10 minutes. I just get sucked right back. And we were talking about this during the break just a second ago about how I'm trying to refine my what I do and don't say.
Yeah.
It's a difficult thing what we do and don't say in this world. And speaking of that, I don't know if you caught it, but we, my friend, are terrible examples of what you do and don't say right now. You know why?
Why is that?
Because we came back into this podcast with a specific thing we were going to talk about, and we began to talk about it, and then we just got completely off topic. You barely told me anything about selling that beat.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Basically, just to kind of wrap that portion up, I was in the drive-thru and I get the notification, and it was just like somebody I didn't recognize, but then it made me wonder. I was like, well, how did they find this beat? Because I don't think that was a beat that I had uploaded to my YouTube, because I haven't uploaded to YouTube like much lately. It was mainly more of like TikTok and that was pretty much it. Like I've been posting stuff on TikTok, but I didn't get a comment on, a video or whatever that was like, oh yeah, I like this one. That would match the name of the person who bought it.
You couldn't detective.
Yeah, I was trying to reverse engineer how they found my page. And I wonder if it was just them scrolling through BeatStars and mine happened to just show up out of the hundreds of thousands of beats that are on there, that they were searching for that certain day. And then they just happened to really enjoy it. So they were like, oh, I'm going to buy this, So I'm like, it makes me wonder. I kind of want to reach out to them because BeatStars gives you their email, obviously, because they paid for it. So just in case you need to contact them or whatever, it makes me kind of the curiosity part of me that makes me want to go hey, how did you find my store? But thank you for purchasing and, my beat. But how did you come across my page? It makes me want to do that. But at the same time, I'm like, should I really do that?
There's nothing wrong with that. A lot of businesses will do that. When you're
how did you find or how did you hear about? Yeah, that's a good idea.
It's probably why they do it, so they can figure out where they should invest more and what people are really looking at. I'm sure there's got to be some type of real reason they're asking. I never really thought about that till now.
I didn't either. So that's a great point that you brought up, because I would usually always just click, oh yeah, heard it from in the internet or something, or it'll be there's 5 options and then other, and so it'd be did you hear it from the TV, hear it from social media, did you hear it from a friend or a family member, and so like you said, I never really thought of that until just now. It makes them really want to know, because it's they're doing something right, they just don't know exactly what it is.
Yes, exactly, man. And how did you feel when this guy hit you up about that beat? Because this, or not when he hit you up, but I guess when
they
got
bought
the notification.
it.
What was the first thought that popped into your brain?
I was like, oh my God, people actually like my beats enough to buy them. It wasn't even the fact that I got money. That went out the window. It was that dude, this guy liked, or this, this person liked my beat so much that like they found the monetary value in it. They were like, I'm gonna pay for this because I like it that much.
And I suppose what makes that such a perplexing thing, such a crazy thing to ponder over while sitting in that drive-through, is that that's how you value your music. Like, it's worth it.
Yeah.
So to have that validated for the first time.
For somebody actually buying it, makes me go, well, maybe my beats are actually worth that. It's just I don't have a big enough audience, or like I'm not marketing well enough to get, them out there. My cousin, and shout out my cousin, dude. He's really cool. We support each other a lot, but he's one of the first people that like, hears my beats when I first like make them or whatever. Like I'll put them on my story and he'll be like, yo, this is crazy good or whatever. But then he'll also like occasionally, so he'll stream on Twitch, like playing games and stuff. And he'll like sometimes he'll snap me and be like, yo, like open my stream right quick. And I was like, okay. And his intro, like, would be rolling, but he would have like one of my beats playing in the background. And I'm like, yo, like shout out the homie, And it's just cool because like he told me this too. And I think about it, every now and then, but he's just like, dude, like once your beats get in the right hands and like, get heard by the right people, like it's game over. Like, you're going to blow up. Like, it's just a matter of time. It's not like if, but when. And I'm like, wow. Like, like I take that to heart because it's like, I don't think anybody's ever really told me that other than him. Not that, I was looking for it, but like he literally believes in me that much. And it's like, obviously I believe in myself too, but like, for somebody else to like believe in me, like actually like enjoying the type of music that I make, the beats that I make, like you said, it kind of like is that validation. And like not that I was looking for it, but like to just confirm it, it's just kind of like, wow, like if he believes in me and I believe in myself, then like I gotta make it, like there's no way that like I'm not gonna, grow even more as a producer.
Yeah. And I think that you put it well too when you said like if that's what this is, then it's on me to just get better at marketing this stuff and putting it in front of the right people. Like if people do value it that way and that's what's happening, then it's on me now to just market it better, because I think like that's what happened there. It's a result of you marketing it well enough to where it reached the right person, and then you got the result you were looking for.
Right.
Boom. Like it's just everything lined up the way it was supposed to. And that's just one example of it. But like it's the butterfly effect of putting that work out and allowing that work to be something that like a lot of people stop at just making it of 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 beats that they just don't sell, and they don't know how to sell, and they don't even know what to do with. And like you'll hit them up, you'll be like, what's your beat catalog? And they'll be like, they won't know what to do because they can't really send you a folder full of 50 songs.
Right.
All they have it on is this flash drive. Like they'll be like, hey, you want to hang out? I can show you beats.
It's like, but if they're not out there to be heard or seen by other people, like on a beat store or even like your YouTube or whatever, like how do you expect people to find you?
And this is a step in the right direction for like just even this, a podcast where you're coming out here and you're talking about beyond your beats, but like your creation process and just life in general. Like that's a whole other way that people can find your beats and get into, maybe they'll even have a whole different perspective going into them because they just like you, so they want to work with you.
Right.
Maybe they'll even just hit you up and be like, yo, I like your beats, but I was looking for something a little more like this.
Yeah.
And they just found you through this. So like there's a million ways that you can get your work in front of people. That's something I'm always trying to get better at too, is just figuring out what is the best way for me to, like what's the simplest, easiest, cheapest way for me to present myself to people in a format that respects, or not a format, but I should say in a way that respects what I am, what I think I am. And, I'm always trying to figure out like what's the best way to do that.
Right.
So, I mean, yeah, I like for art to be a proper representation too. Like you can't phone things in, man. You can't, because you put it really well in the last podcast that we did. I clipped it where you said that thing about always doing your best work because
Yeah,
you
putting out
never
your
know
best
who's going to
work.
hear it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a great message to be putting out there because I think you really don't ever know.
And like, so yeah, that was obviously before I ever got my first beat sale. So like, fast forward to today, I'm like, how would I have known that like this person liked my beat so much that they were gonna buy it,
Exactly. And if you just continue with that mindset, it only continues to grow, the things that happen and the way that flower blossoms into a beautiful garden.
Yeah, dude.
It's not something that happens overnight. Rome wasn't built in a night. I get more and more stuck on this every day. Rome wasn't built in a day. Same thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. It'd be hard to
12
build at
hours
night,
each.
though. It's hard to build at night, especially they didn't have work lights back then.
Oh, right. They had to worry about the sun. It's just like, oh, hey, like sun's going down. We don't know. There's nothing to do. So like, just go to bed. We'll do it tomorrow morning when the sun comes up.
That would be it all the time. Like, and then you have that hard ass dude who's like, no, I'm working by the candles.
Yeah, by the
work by
candles.
candles
Yeah,
at
let's
night.
just stoke a fire and just get this going. It's like, okay, dude. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I guess, like there are people that are like extremely dedicated like that.
They still exist. They existed back when Rome was built. I'm betting you there was
for
some
sure.
guy building Rome at night. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, it's funny that you mentioned that because Shade Jennifer, shout out Shade, R&B singer that I've been keeping my eye on for a while. He, so like, I'll see that he's on live, like recording or working on a song or whatever. Let's say around like 9-10 p.m. I'll go to bed and then I'll wake up and I'll see that he's still live working on songs. I'm like, this dude literally just pulled an all-nighter to like, literally like a 12-hour shift just like working on these songs or whatever. And people are like, get some rest, like go to bed, like, like don't strain your voice. And you could hear like his voice, like when he was trying to sing in like the higher register, like he usually doesn't have a problem with it, but like it was starting to get really raspy. And he's like, he's like, my voice is getting tired. And I'm like, dude, yeah, like don't strain it, like it's like, don't, overwork it. He's like, yeah, but like, I'm in that zone where I'm like, like I can get this done. He's like, I don't want to stop until it's done. And I'm like, I get that. Like, I totally get that. But it's like, you're going to burn yourself out, So like, shout out to him. Like this dude has a crazy good, like, working mindset, like mentality, and it's like, he's like, I'm not going to stop until I make it, and I'm like, that actually inspires me as like a producer. Like, yo, like, I'm not going to give up making beats and like working with other artists or trying to work with other artists because like, if this dude pulls like all-nighters working on songs, I'm not saying like everybody should do that, but it's like it really like inspires me just as a creative to just keep going.
Yeah, and you never know what the effect of what you create is. I think like the beautiful thing about success is that it just creates more. Like once you succeed, it doesn't end anything. There's nothing that happens that like confirms the success ultimately. Like there's no ultimatum that occurs when you've succeeded. It's just like you get to continue and expand upon every success. And I think that's something that's beautiful about learning from the process and learning from creating is that you do get to expand and get better and just learn new things. Because I mean, there's so much that you can figure out, and there's so many different ways to expand throughout an industry. And then throughout learning about that industry, through that expansion, you get to find yourself along the way and find new ways to express your voice. And experience truly is the best teacher, man.
It is, yeah.
So by putting your stuff out there, you're getting feedback that you would never get otherwise. And I think it's a crazy thing to think about, like how much you can change over 5 or 10 years working in a certain field, especially if you're aggressive about it, especially if you're reaching out, especially if you're trying very diligently to ensure that people can find what you're doing and they will find what you're doing. Like things are going, if you truly believe in yourself, that's the only mindset that will work, is that it's going to go somewhere. I'm just going to keep putting my head down and working until we get there. I mean, Mike Tyson and Eminem had a podcast together that I finally listened to just the other day. And Mike Tyson said in it that great success requires you to sacrifice your happiness. And I think that's really true. It's just a hard thing to come to grips with. Like,
Yeah.
if you really are committed to whatever your craft is and whatever it is that you do want to get great at, you do have to sacrifice your happiness to a certain extent and train your voice and get in that zone. And, it's a hard thing to, I mean, there's an early Slipknot album, Iowa, where there's a few songs on there where Corey Taylor just like destroyed himself in those songs. And I think Iowa itself, that title song specifically, it's a heavy song, but it's like that song wouldn't be what it is unless he destroyed himself for it. So it's all about how much you're willing to give to your craft, I suppose.
That's true passion right there.
Yeah. And I think that the people that we really do see blossom and go from that flower to that garden are the people who do give themselves to it and sacrifice their happiness to a certain extent. It's the stuff we don't see behind the scenes,
That makes them, who they are today, and like puts them in that position where they are. Like you said, it's like they made sacrifices, and like those choices help them achieve things that they wouldn't have achieved had they not did those things.
Yeah. I mean, I'm at this point now, too, in my life where, I've been putting out this whole idea of Chicago, of getting out of here and doing something new. And I really want to commit to it because I think I need a whole different set of problems to deal with, a whole new rule set to refresh myself because I've gotten too comfortable in this position and it's threatening my creativity. It's threatening my career. I can feel it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I just know somewhere else with something new, it would feed into that whole element that I know is there of like that's what creation is. We talked a lot about that on the last podcast. And creation, a lot of that creative energy for me comes from
discomfort.
Discomfort and the fact that there is a new thing that's outside of me. I mean, this is where discomfort is naturally from, right?
Yeah.
It's something that you wouldn't wish for, but it's there. It's new. It's that beautiful world that's outside of you. And the fact that there's always something else. And to me, that's kind of part of that whole drive there too, is I know that creatively I need more discomfort. I need it. I crave it in a way.
I read
I've fucked up. I've let myself get too comfortable.
I read somewhere, and it was somewhat recently too, like this past week or two. It was like somebody said like there is no growth in comfort. Like the only way you can find yourself, like, because like I guess you could kind of think of it as comfort is that like limit, that ceiling, and you can't pass that. But like discomfort is you like pushing through that ceiling. Like you're obviously like it wouldn't be comfortable to actually go through a ceiling. But like let's say you're trapped, right? And you need to get out and you're not gonna go anywhere. You're stuck there. Well, are you gonna like just give up and be like, well, I'm stuck here? Or are you gonna try to like rip through, or break through those walls or whatever to get where you want to be? That's true discomfort.
Yeah.
Like taking it like metaphorically and literally, but I mean, obviously for us more metaphorically. Like if you're, it's like you said, it's the discomfort that like makes you want to I feel like it drives the hunger more in a way. Like whereas if you're comfortable, you're like, I've got time, Whereas, if you're, like putting yourself in those situations where you're kind of like, oh man, I gotta make it. Like, if I don't make it, then like, what am I doing this for?
Yeah. How do you embrace discomfort?
Working a 9 to 5 the rest of my life. That's something I don't want to do, So it's like, obviously, like everybody's got their hustles and like their goals might be like their side hustle or whatever for now, but like mine would be to eventually replace it and make it my main hustle, because I'm not just trying to like make money off of my beats, but like I want to, once you add like the, money side of things to like music, then it kind of takes away the passion. So you kind of got to keep those separate. But somebody said in like a video I saw a while ago on YouTube, he was just like, don't chase the money while making music. Chase the music and like have the passion for making music, and the money will follow. So that's basically what I've been doing.
Yeah, and I believe it was when CoffeeZilla was speaking with Joe Rogan. If I'm getting this source correct, I'm surprising myself. But they were talking about Steve Jobs and just about how, like, Steve Jobs, he wasn't even thinking about money when he was doing a lot of that stuff that made him successful. Like, it was just the fact that he was so driven by this idea. Like, he was passionate about the things that he wanted to create. And that's what drove a lot of that. It wasn't money at all.
Right.
Money just came with that. And I think that, like, that is something that comes from the discomfort and allowing yourself to be discomfortable too. Is like, if I put myself in a position where I know this is not financially perfect, like, I don't have a bed to fall back on.
Yeah.
Like say I go to Chicago, I got $3,000 in savings, and I still want to be putting money into music and what I'm doing. We're talking $1,500 and paying for rent. Like 2 months, I'm out of money.
Yeah.
So now my back's against the wall. I have to get a job immediately.
Yep.
Or make money off my art if I
Right.
can make enough money to support that. It's like those are the only options. And if I do get that job, I have to find time to still make that happen because I chose this and I want this. And it's like recognizing that I'm putting my back against the wall for a reason. Like I have to.
You got to make it work.
You have to make it work,
Yeah.
or else it's not going to happen.
Yep.
And I don't know. I just think that, like, there's a million ways you can do that to yourself. I think that I just allow myself to not do it for too long, and then we screw it up and we get the wrong pattern as a behavior. You know, we develop it and it becomes the thing we always do. It's like for a while I was taking forever to film these podcasts. Like I would film one a month even.
Oh, wow.
And I'm telling myself now, like, I want to be filming. If I could film one every day, I want to be doing that. But
and here you are, like 2 in a day.
Yeah, I did the crack like the last episode we actually filmed earlier today. Yeah, and to me, it's just there's something about accepting that, like, okay, this is truly what I want to do, and then digging deep into that I think I was missing that in what I was doing and what I've been doing up to now, that I really need to switch that over and flip that switch and allow myself to really give into this, because I do believe in myself, but if I don't invest in it like that, then maybe to other people I don't. And so there's all kinds of subconscious things that I think occur there. So it's like I don't know. I've had this battle lately where it's like, I know I need to make this harder on myself. I know I need to be putting more into this. I'm the only one that's going to be
to make it work for you
and make it work.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like, because that's how all independent creators have it. We don't have managers. We're the ones that make it work. And I know I got it. So yeah, man. And I would say the same for you. Like, I think that you are doing that in a different way, and I really like the way that you're approaching, like the way that you're looking at that beat sale and how it just leads to the future.
Yeah.
I like how you're looking forward. You're not just thinking of it as like, oh, this was the best thing that ever happened to me. You're thinking this is cool, but it's only cool because it means this can happen again.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that's a really cool way to look at that, because you understand that it's part of a process.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that's the beauty of it. I love that process in a way that I didn't always. Like, I'm really starting to understand it more and more and more. Like, there's a reason there's people that are so good at these things. There's a reason that you want to learn from one another. There's a reason that it's not easy to just jump right into anything. Like, you can be good at something, but how do you become truly great?
Yeah. You know, it's like I remembered hearing a while ago, it's like, you know, something that is worth it isn't easy, and something that's easy might not be worth it. You know, it's like how it really comes down to you asking yourself, how bad do you want this?
Yeah, and then following through. Like, that's the other thing, is you can say all that. You can tell me how bad you want it. You can let the world know. But are you going to actually prove it? Like with the Chicago thing, I've been saying that for forever, but I finally put it out on social media. I'm wearing the hat on the podcast.
I see that. Yeah, I'm like, he's got the Chicago hat on. So, like, he's got to make this official. Like, it's got to happen.
Because, like, to me, that's the only way. And it's just another way for me to apply that thought as an action. You know what I'm saying? And show the world, like, this is really it. This is really what I want to do. And then I'm going to do it. I mean, I've been saying a date. I've been saying August 1st. As the podcast knows, and as I told you earlier, me and my job recently broke up. So I'm thinking maybe even July 1st. I don't know. Maybe August, because I am really I've been diving into the podcast more and more day by day. And I feel like there's a lot of this area that I haven't explored enough. And I want to get a lot of that before I go. So like people like you. You're a really interesting guy, and
Appreciate that.
Yeah, and I'm glad I even invited you on the first time. There's a reason I brought you back a second time. You know, you and I see eye to eye on a lot of things, and I think that your philosophy and your approach towards music is an interesting one. And even though you make beats and I don't make beats, we both can bounce ideas off of each other in a really interesting way. And I think you can find that all over the place with all kinds of people. It's like I said, the magic in the middle.
Right.
And you and I have a special kind of magic, but maybe you and the next guy are able to, like, maybe you work with some producer and you guys can make a beat together that
Right.
is something you could have never made. Like, it's just an interesting thing that you can find from person to person. So yeah, I'm hesitant to get out of here immediately because I really do love a lot of the creativity that I see around here. But again, going back to that whole goal thing and that whole thing of like making yourself follow through. For me, that's kind of part of it. It's like, I'm saying it, it's official. Now I have to follow through. I'm going to prove it to you. We'll see how it goes. And it's just like I've been saying about how I'm going to go hard on the podcast. I feel like I've said that a couple times on here so far. I have to. I can't just say that and then not drop a million episodes.
You got to follow through with it.
Last episode with Crackalack, I said 4,000. I said we're hitting 4,000 because I was telling him about how I'm thinking we talked on here about mastery.
Yep.
I've been thinking a lot about that, and like they say 10,000 hours.
Yep.
So if we're talking just strictly recorded material, like the amount of actual podcast I've released, just earlier today when I did the one with Crackalack, we hit 100 hours.
Wow.
And if you're at an average of 2.5 hours per podcast, that would take about 4,000. So that's why I say 4,000.
Okay.
But just earlier today, we hit 100. So that means I'm 1% of the way.
I mean, it's a milestone, you know? It's like, some people say, like, don't look at how far you have left to go. Look at how far you've come.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. And you know, the beauty's in the journey.
Yeah.
The beauty's in the journey. So I'm just like, I'm learning to enjoy it more and more, but also enjoy the fact that I'm just early in this journey too.
Yes.
Like, and that's okay. And I'm looking at my music in the same way. Like, I used to always think of things like, oh, this is it. This is it. And I shouldn't have ever been doing that. It's all just part of this way bigger thing that I'm nowhere near the end of, and it's going to make itself. It's going to form its own identity throughout time, and that's beautiful. And like I should accept that. Same thing with my music. Like my music, my podcast, my whatever. It's not going to be what it is today 5 years from now. When I hit 1,000 episodes, it won't be what it is at episode 67.
Right. It'll be like completely different.
But that's beautiful.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, man, I just, I love it.
I'm looking forward to, you know, just watching your journey, you know, as you like go along, like, you know, podcasting with other people and, you know, like you going to Chicago and whatnot. Like,
well, that'll be interesting because the fact that the podcast exists will force me to have to document that.
yes, yes. I mean, even vlog yourself while you're there too, you know, be like, oh, hey, you know, like, so this is kind of an update of my life and what's going on. Like, it would be interesting to
I'll
other
probably
people.
just do it in podcast format.
Okay.
I'll probably just, because I mean, I did an episode where I did the 7 reasons I'm going to Chicago. That
Okay.
was like the formal announcement, and I just did it as a podcast. And so I'll probably just continue to do it that way since I've already incorporated it in the podcast, in the Ruse Radio realm.
Yeah, I like that.
Makes sense. So, and it's just like, it'll work as a running thing. That's why I made it as the podcast originally. I was thinking, well, if I capture this as a podcast, I can always come back to this later and just do another episode where it's like, okay, I said that last time. Here's where we're at now. So it just creates a cool thread that we'll see how that plays out. So I'm glad that you'll be keeping up with it.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm hoping to have people like you who might even come on out, man.
That would be cool.
You're a great guest. I'd love to have you on. And if you came out for a day, we could go chill and do something crazy. You can go to like fucking, I don't know, I'm trying to think of something you can do in Chicago you can't do here. We can go to the 100th floor somewhere and go spit on somebody.
It would feel like, imagine like, I don't know, like it makes me think of, okay, if you're at the 100th floor and somebody's all the way on the ground, like how much pressure would that be coming down?
It'd be some hefty spit.
Right. It'd be like, just like, probably feel like somebody slapping you in the face, but on top of your head, you'd be like, the hell was that?
Yeah, I feel like it hurt maybe even a little worse than that.
Possibly.
Oh,
right.
what the hell?
Did I just get shit on by a bird?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Confusing.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm up there like, oh shit, I got somebody.
Right. Oh, wow. Did that actually hit him?
And you're like, yeah, and you're next to me with the binoculars. Yeah, you got him.
Right.
You got him.
Like I zoom in. I'm like, hold on. Yep, that was him.
Yeah, so those are the type of activities I hope we do while
That's
we're not
funny.
podcasting together.
Right. Finding some trouble, but like it makes for great stories.
Yeah, and that's one reason I want to be there is just the great stories, and I feel like it'll be a nice little story progression for the life that is Ruse, the brand that is Ruse, whatever I am. I definitely want to move in some different direction. I feel it in my soul. I do. But I'm happy to have people like you as a part of it, man. I'm happy to have you dropping in and joining us along the way on the podcast. I think that's a good way for us to close, as good as any. Is there anything you wanna leave the people with?
Obviously, like, don't give up on your dreams. Support the people around you and what they're doing, hope the best for them. Don't hate on other people if you see that they're doing better than you. There's no reason to. Just support them and be like, hey, like I see what you're doing. Keep up, keep at it. Be happy for them. And just have that good energy and you'll get good energy back.
Yeah. Yeah. Good energy plus good energy equals great energy.
Yes.
Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for listening to this whole thing. You listened to us for 2 hours straight. It's official. You're crazy. The doctor just called. He told me. Love you so much. Shout out my roosters, my chickens and my roosters in the Coop Troop. You are the top, the royalty, the king, queen, whatever you want to be. Prince, maybe? Who knows? I don't care. But you're the king of the coop for this particular podcast. If you listen to this whole thing, we're amazed that you exist. I mean, gotta imagine that when Ruse is multi-platinum, there's going to be like thousands of views in this podcast. There'll be millions of views in this podcast. They'll be like, oh my God, we're all the king of the coop. And it's true. You're all the king of the coop. I don't care. You can be more than one. It could be thousands. You know why? Because you're all awesome. We're all talented. We're all amazing. And we all have superpowers. And I believe that religiously. And that's what I want you kids to take home today from me. All right? Go do something cool. I believe in you. BKTHAGR808 over here believes in you. God believes in you. My dog, Oscar, he believes in you. And I bet when you were born, at least when you were born, your mom believed in you. Thank you so much for being here. Ruse Radio, clocking out.
Ain't nobody gonna take it away.